GTV breakfast. Now, before we bring you our BFS clinic, which is Eating Disorders, headline social media corner, and Time with Minerals Commission, we're bringing you GTV breakfast news. I am Malti Tisaida Sadiq. We're streaming live on our social media handles at GTV Ghana on Facebook, YouTube, and on Twitter. On DSTV, you can watch us on channel 278. Stories in politics, business, health, trade, and take you to the international front. Let's start off from in Accra yesterday night. The U.S. Embassy hosted a celebration to mark America's 247th independence anniversary from Great Britain. Now, a significant date on the American calendar is the 4th of July, which marks the day the Declaration of Independence was adopted in 1776 and the United States officially became its own nation. Accra and Washington, D.C. have nurtured their strong bonds dating back decades with mutual respect for democracy and the rule of law, as well as a firm commitment to protecting life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And the goal for both sides is to keep the cords of friendship stronger. Thelma Thaki was there and came through with this report.
Whether it's a small town or a large city, USAnians will always congregate to mark their nation's inception. They honor the courage and sacrifices of those who fought for their freedom and sacrificed everything during the American War of Independence. 4th of July, therefore, commemorates the principles their country was founded on. It's a day of unity, pride, and community spirit. And in typical U.S. fashion, the independence celebration in Accra had a fanfare and barbecue feel. The U.S. Embassy in Accra opened its doors to friends from development partners, the political class, ministers of state, Nananom, media, and more, in honor of its enviable place as the land of the free and home of the brave. The U.S. Ambassador to Ghana, Madame Virginia Palmer, hailed the progressive relationship between the two countries in the quest to build a society free of injustice and corruption.
Together, we draw inspiration from our heroes of the past, the activists, the innovators, the dreamers who have pushed boundaries, battled discrimination, and changed the course of history. We collectively stand on their shoulders, and we owe it to them to continue to fight to deliver and defend accountable, inclusive democracies that truly serve our people. The solutions to these problems, to corruption, to a lack of faith in public institutions, and the threat of extremism, lie in more democracy, not less democracy. Every one of us has the power to make a difference. So we need to stand up against corruption, work together to promote peace, tolerance, opportunity, and inclusivity, and champion human rights for all.
The government of Ghana's official representative at the celebration, Minister for Communication and Digitalization, Mrs. Ursula Owusu-Ekufo, acknowledged the contribution of the United States government and its support in the areas of health, agriculture, and infrastructure development through initiatives like the Millennium Challenge Compact, the Africa Growth and Opportunities Act (AGWA), among others.
The Ghana-US relationship is a testament to the power of friendship, mutual respect, and shared aspirations. Together, we have achieved remarkable milestones and overcome challenges, forging a bond that is deeply rooted in history and holds promise for the future. It is my hope that the coming years will herald a period of closer and stronger relations between Ghana and the United States of America.
For the two countries, the expectation is for growth in all areas of collaboration to offer better livelihoods for all persons, irrespective of race or creed. The gathering was treated to live band music and jazz by the U.S. Navy Topside Band. At the end of the evening, all eyes turned towards the skies for the traditional display of fireworks. And so it will be again on this anniversary, from one end of the American continent to the other, as the skies are illuminated to etch another year in the history books. Thelma Thaki, GBC News, Accra.
Let's still stay in the capital. We must not lower standards because tourists have options, and we must work harder to make Ghana the hub of tourism in West Africa, says the president opening the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park in Accra. President Akufo-Addo charged the Ministry of Tourism to ensure that tourist visits to the park increase to 1 million annually from the current annual figure of 90,000.
Visited to the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park before July 19, 2022, when the renovation and modernization project kicked off, met it in the state. The facility, which had not been refurbished since it was built in 1992, was still attracting 90,000 tourists annually and was raking some revenue to the national kitty. Now the iconic landmark in Ghana's capital, Accra, dedicated to Ghana's first president, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, and one of the vanguards of the African liberation movement, has been given a world-class touch. Now given a new lease of life, the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park is formally opened, which coincided with the independence anniversary of the United States, July 4, where Kwame Nkrumah was studying before returning home to fight for independence. And to these African-American academics from Virginia State University who were visiting Ghana for the first time, the inauguration of the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park was a double package for them, because back home it is Independence Day, and in Accra their hero was also being given better recognition.
This is the first time, and I am really impressed with what I've seen so far. Yes, and to be here when the president is coming is even a greater experience.
We're very proud to be here to share this event.
The 5.4-acre park, attractively illuminated at night for those who have experienced it, from the high street on which it stands, has a welcoming ambience with a reception center which houses a host of offices, modern library, an eatery, gift shop, an infirmary and conference facility. Also at the reception is the first official vehicle of Dr. Nkrumah. Other novel additions to the park is the audiovisually synchronized fountain, which light up the park at night, as well as a mini amphitheater. Samia Nkrumah, the daughter of President Nkrumah, lauded government for not only modernizing the facility, but consulting with the family throughout the process.
Today, I am so proud of Ghana and so proud of Ghanaians, because we came together to do a good thing and a big thing. We are honoring one of our own, one of our fathers, one of our ancestors, our dear father, Osagyefo Kwame Nkrumah.
Redeveloping the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park, valued at $3.5 million, the cost of which was borne by the World Bank. The country director of the World Bank, Pierre Laporte, said the bank was glad to be associated with the project because it will help in Ghana's drive to transform its economy.
The World Bank is very thankful for this partnership over the last 5 years, and we look forward to greater collaboration in the future. Let me say a few words about select aspects of the tourism development project. This $40 million 5-year project has positioned the tourism and hospitality sectors as key drivers of social and economic development in Ghana.
The Minister for Tourism, Mohamed Awal, said government is working on other tourist sites across the country.
Very soon, the Du Bois Center will be modernized. Next year, the Osu Castle will be modernized. And we are going to link all this, Kwame Nkrumah Park, Osu Castle, Museum, George Padmore Library, and National Museum, with the forts and castles, to make Ghana the heritage attraction in Africa. The global diaspora like history. Those in America and the Caribbean would come here to celebrate our culture and our diversity.
President Akufo-Addo, the drive to give a facelift to the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park forms part of government's drive to make Ghana a go-to destination in terms of heritage tourism in Africa.
Museums and other tourist attractions are the living energies of culture and history and represent the very essence of a people. It is thus important that they are kept in the best possible shape to attract domestic and international visitors. Our heritage sites have the potential to inspire the development of the creative arts industry and to help enhance sustainable development.
The strategic plan of the tourism ministry is an indicator that Ghana should, within the next 5 years, scale up its revenue from tourism to $6 billion. Edward Nyakun, reporting for GBC News.
Let's go to Parliament now. The Speaker of the House, Mr. Alban Bagbin, has sworn in Mr. James Gyakye Quayson as MP for Asin North. This follows the Speaker's receipt of official correspondence from the Electoral Commission declaring Mr. Quayson as winner of the Asin North by-election.
It was all joy as the re-elected Member of Parliament for Asin North, Mr. James Gyakye Quayson, was sworn in. This jubilation was, however, one-sided, as most members of the majority were absent during proceeding. The minority MPs, all clad in white, sang and chanted victory songs for their colleague. Present were former President John Mahama, his running mate, Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, and the rank and file of the National Democratic Congress. The public gallery was equally flooded with chiefs, elders, and people of Asin North constituency. Mr. Quayson's election victory comes after the Supreme Court's ruling on May 17, declaring his previous election illegal and stopping him from holding the position. He has, however, successfully reclaimed his seat in a by-election held on June 27 with 17,245 votes, representing 57.56% of the valid votes cast. Before he was sworn into office on Tuesday, July 4, the Speaker of Parliament, Mr. Alban Bagbin, acknowledged receiving a letter from the Electoral Commission declaring him as winner of the recent Asin North by-election.
That I will uphold the sovereignty and integrity of Ghana.
And that I will preserve.
And that I will preserve.
Protect.
And
defend the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana.
And defend the Constitution and the Republic of Ghana.
So help me God.
So help me God.
On behalf of the House, Mr. Bagbin presented Mr. Gyakye Quayson with copies of the 1992 Constitution and standing orders of the House to serve as his tools for the work of Parliament. Leaders of both sides later addressed the House.
The people of Asin North have sent a clear message to all politicians, Mr. Speaker, and the government of the day in particular, that they cannot be hoodwinked by sharing of money, nor be intimidated by threats. We are solidarizing with our colleague, and we will not participate in the business of the House anytime our colleague is in court, and we will be withdrawing from the chamber after this ceremony if the court processes indeed happens today. So, Speaker, amid persecution, cooperation will certainly suffer.
The NDC want to believe that this is a peak victory that would hurt the pride of the MPP, as the minority leader has alluded to. Of course, on the other hand, we, the parliamentary group of the MPP, also believe that this is a momentary victory of phantasmal character that certainly may not last. But, Mr. Speaker, that is the choice of the people of Asin North, and everybody must respect that whilst it lasts.
Due to the swearing-in of Mr. Quayson, the court earlier adjourned the criminal trial of the Asin North MP to Thursday, July 6. This means that, as announced by the minority leader, Dr. Cassiel Atu-Forson, from Thursday, the whole minority group will be going to court to support their colleague during his trial. From Parliament House, Rachel Quarty reporting for GBC News.
Still in Parliament, the minority caucus in the House have announced that aside Mr. Gyakye Quayson, they will equally absent themselves from the House whenever the case of the minority leader, Dr. Cassiel Atu-Forson, Mr. Collins Dauda, and any other colleague of theirs is called in court.
Escalation of a similar unwarranted court cases has seen the Akufo-Addo government renew its harassment of our Member of Parliament of Asutifi, the Honorable Collins Dauda, over completely unsubstantiated, over trumped-up charges, thereby confirming that this government will stop at nothing to abuse prosecution and court processes in order to reduce the strength of the minority in this House. However, as a united 137 minority group, restored and re-energized by the good people of Asin North, we wish to serve notice that from here on, we shall march with our colleague Honorable James Gyakye Quayson to the High Court to lend our unwavering support to him in his criminal trial. And this we shall extend to the court hearings of the minority leader himself, Honorable Ato Forson, Honorable Collins Dauda, and any other member of the minority who is currently being prosecuted by the Akufo-Addo Bawumia government. It therefore stands to reason, ladies and gentlemen, that until the prosecution of our members stops, cooperation with this government and its business will suffer during all such occasions. Our message to the government is very clear. If you touch one, you touch all of us. The government must be clear in dealing with the people's representatives.
Meanwhile, the chiefs and elders from Asin North constituency are pleading with the Supreme Court and the government to stop the criminal trial of their MP, Mr. James Gyakye Quayson. They spoke with the media in Parliament after the swearing in.
Asin North, Setembia, court nsɛm bemu a yenya empuntio bia ɛwɔ ho. Enti yɛsrɛ ɔmanpani ne Atomic General sɛ ɔmɔmɔden na ɔmuntwa saa nsɛm a ɛkɔso ne nyinaa mu ɛfiri sɛ ɛnya baawie yɛwura Quayson ɔno ana edi yɛn mu kan yɛyi no sɛ wɔni yɛn mu kan
yɛhwɛ abato a ɛto yi sɛnea kwan a Asin North for fa so to aba no kyerɛ sɛ wɔn dɔ owura Gyakye Quayson ɛfiri sɛ yɛhwɛ Gyakye Quayson ɛfiri sɛ yɛhwɛ aba wɔn to yɛn dodo a wɔnyae na na sɛ ɔman no pɛ ne sɛ obɛdi wɔn anim na ɔma somsom pade aboa Asin man ɛyɛ Asin North enti yɛsrɛ president ɛne mpanimfoɔ sɛ ne aba no ɔmɔmɔden na wɔma de aba nyinaa ntwam yɛn nyinaa nka mom yɛntena somdwem.
Let's take you to the courts now. The Criminal Division of the Accra High Court, presided over by Justice Mary Mami Ekuye-Yanzu, has adjourned to Thursday, July 6, 2023, for lawyers of James Gyakye Quayson to move an application for stay of proceedings filed earlier by the Member of Parliament for Asin North constituency. Justice Yanzu adjourned the matter after she announced to the court about a letter received from Parliament informing the court of the swearing-in of the MP-elect for Asin North on Tuesday. Lawyers of Gyakye Quayson are appealing against an earlier decision by the High Court on Friday, June 23, 2023, which dismissed an application for variation of court hearings on his criminal case.
Lawyers for Asin North were expected to move an application for a stay of proceeding pending the determination of an appeal at the Court of Appeal challenging the High Court's ruling for his criminal trial to be heard on a day-to-day basis. Mr. Chacho Chikata, the lawyer for the accused, told the court that his client was being sworn in as a member of parliament, the reason for his absence in court. Mr. Chikata then asked the court to adjourn the application to Thursday, July 6, 2023, by which time they would have handled other related court issues and have the accused in court. Deputy Attorney General Alfred Yeboah, who did not object to the request by the defense, said the state was aware of the pending ceremony in Parliament and considered it a national assignment. Justice Mary Yanzu granted the request and subsequently adjourned the hearing of the application to Thursday, July 6. Lawyers for James Gyakye Quayson are contesting a ruling of the High Court allowing daily trial. They described the decision of the court as errors of law. His affidavit also said the ruling of the court had taken a political turn.
We are going to argue the motion out. Don't forget that today would have been the arguments, but this has been adjourned to the 6th. We intend to put in a strong case. We are not afraid of the trial. What we don't want is for the state to use its might to re-rule the process so that our client will go to jail.
Still on legal matters, the Office of the Attorney General and Ministry of Justice says it has observed with serious concern the increased tendency for various persons, including members of the legal profession of considerable standing, to run extremely prejudicial commentary on cases pending before the courts. A statement signed by the Attorney General, Mr. Godfred Yeboah-Dame, on Wednesday morning noted that while respecting the freedom of all persons in Ghana to comment on any matter, including cases pending in court, the recent commentary on many of the so-called high-profile criminal cases transgresses permissible limits of free speech. Back to the High Court. The Accra High Court has given another chance to convicted founder of the defunct Capital Bank, Mr. William Ato Essien, to redeem an outstanding 12 million cedis to the state by July 27th. Justice Eric Chebafo said the convict has only made 2 million cedis payments since May 17, 2023. Mr. Essien was convicted in December 2022 on 16 counts of conspiracy, stealing and money laundering. The case has been adjourned to Tuesday, July 6th. Now, if all goes well, the registration of children between age 0 to 6 months and the issuing of national identification numbers to them will begin this month. This process will ensure that new babies in the country are registered at birth. Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia disclosed this at the registration and issuing of Ghana cards for cured lepers at the Weija Leprosarium in Accra. Dr. Bawumia said the Ghana card is a critical document of inclusion, and therefore the decision to capture children at birth as well as marginalized people such as cured lepers.
The Ghana card is gradually becoming the primary document for all kinds of transactions in the country. From data as at June 2023, the card had been verified 120 million times, hence the decision to start registering cured lepers in the country. The process was started with those at the Weija Leprosarium, but will capture all cured lepers in Ho, Wa, Kokofu and Nkachina. Registering the cured lepers has become critical because they are often excluded from many of the transactions that require the use of the Ghana card. About 50 of the cured lepers came forward for the exercise. Due to the challenges with their limbs, the system captured their iris, facial and ears. Reverend Father Andrew Campbell is the founder of the Lepers Aid Committee.
And I hope and pray that the Lord will bless you, for this wonderful deed, because they've really been troubling me. Father, when are we getting the Ghana card? When is the Ghana card come? When? Especially Mr. Agri. Mr. Agri was always after me to get this. So I want to say you're all very welcome. Your Excellency, you're very welcome to come along today. And all the visitors, we say you're very welcome. Thank you for coming, and God bless you all. Amen.
Another category of the population to be captured onto the NIA database are newborn babies. Executive Secretary of the National Identification Authority, NIA, Professor Ken Adjimanatefa, said the process will start this month.
We are beginning this month registering Ghanaians aged 0 to 6 and issuing them with unique ID numbers, Ghana card numbers, alongside the birth certificate numbers. To this end, we are working with the Registrar of Births and Deaths Registry and with the Ghana Health Service to ensure that children born from age 0 are given the unique number tied to their mother's identity or that of other parent. And when they are 6 years old and their biometrics are fully developed, then we issue them with the actual Ghana card.
Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia said the Ghana card is a critical document for verification and inclusion, the reason every Ghanaian must register for it.
Ghana card is going to be needed for day-to-day life in Ghana, whether you are looking for healthcare, education, banking services, jobs, business registration, passports. I mean, so many users will require the Ghana card. And so if you do not have a Ghana card, you soon find yourself excluded in access to so many critical services. And this is why we're here to make sure that the lepers are not excluded.
50 cured lepers are expected to be registered in Ghana. Those in Ho, Wa, Kokofu and Nkanchina will have their turn soon.
Let's take you to the international front. Let's start from Africa. A fighter jet was shot down in Khartoum yesterday, where clashes and artillery fire targeted several neighborhoods in Sudan's war-torn capital. The FSR said they had arrested the pilot after he landed, in a statement also accusing the army of, quote, heinous massacres in the Khartoum region.